Hi, my name is Kevin Taylor. So today, I'll be revealing how accomplice number one in the Jubilee House gave Aker Energy a tax relief of $5 billion. Yes, $5 billion. This is With All Due Respect. So with all due respect, last week we saw how the minority in parliament, that is the NDC, raised issues about some oil companies and how they are indirectly milking the nation because some individuals in government today have decided to help them achieve that aim. In fact, the minority or the NDC tried to draw our attention or draw our minds to this serious scandal at the energy ministry. But I think they did a very bad job on that because they failed to speak on the hidden lines. Yes, there were some hidden clauses in there they failed to tell Ghanaians. The minority basically failed to show we Ghanaians what the crime was. Today I'm going to show documents and facts to prove how some group of men in this government are milking the nation through sketchy oil deals. My fellow Ghanaians, as I've always said, focus. When you focus, you get to the last cent. This is the time to focus and know the truth behind this Aker oil deal. Why this government, led by this Achim Mafia, yes, Achim Mafia, forced Parliament in late 2019, that is in December, to amend the sacred petroleum law, which was held in high esteem by President Akufo and President Mahama. One more thing, I am dedicating this episode to Franklin Kujo and Bentel of Imani and the other SCSOs around Ghana because they know more about this issue I'm going to talk about. Yes, these CSOs, they know more about this scandal I'm going to talk about. I just want to ask them some simple questions before I start this episode. Were they involved or called in any meeting concerning this happening? Yes, this deal with Aker Energy. What happened at the meeting? Were some money shared at the meeting for some CSOs to keep mute on this deal? These are just questions, and I hope they will come out bold and answer these questions. These are just questions, my fellow Ghanaians, and I ask them because I have evidence. I have evidence to prove that. Now, thank you very much. Now, let's go to the scandal of the day. You know, HESS Ghana Limited, HESS Ghana Limited, entered into a petroleum agreement with the Republic of Ghana in February 2006 for the exploration, development and production of petroleum resources in the deepwater Tunnel Cape 3 Point block. Yes, that was in 2006. Now, in 2018, February, Aker Energy Ghana Limited acquired all the shares of HESS Ghana Limited. So automatically, HESS Ghana Limited becomes Aker Energies. Following the declaration of the commerciality after drilling appraisal wells, Aker Energy submitted its plan of development. In oil terms, they call it the POD for its oiled Pecan field to Ministry of Petroleum for approval in March 2019. Yes, they put their POD together and submitted it in March 2019. That is last year. Now, focus. Contrary to the requirements of Aker's own petroleum agreement, Aker Energy indicated in its plan of development, in its POD, that it intends to hold on to the adjoining oil field it is supposed to give back to government after exploration. Don't get confused. You know, when you're talking about blocks, oil fields and all that, let me make it simple. When they say oil block, just look something like the Accra Sports Stadium, the field. Now, when you've been given an oil block to explore or look for oil and drill, what happens is, in our constitution, when maybe you start looking for oil, you know, the exploration, maybe from the Adikoka stand, you don't find some, you come to the center line, you don't find some, and maybe you go to the other side of the field and you find it at the other side, the penalty area. Our constitution, the petroleum law, says that wherever you find the oil, you mark that place, and then the rest of the field, you have to relinquish it. You have to give it back to the government of Ghana. There was a reason why the government of Ghana put that document together, or that law there, because they didn't want people or bigger oil companies to take over everything, monopolize all the fields. So when you find a place you think you can explore, then in the law, you have to give out the rest to the government of Ghana, so that when other oil companies come in, we can also give them the other portion to also go and explore. And when they also find something, they release the rest of the land. Basically, we want more oil companies to come into Ghana, tax them more, so that even in a small field, we can get 20 oil companies, each company paying taxes to Ghana and each company drilling respectively at wherever they think they have oil. So it's simple. The blocks are simple. But this is what Aker said. They said they didn't want to release it, even though it's in our constitution. They felt it was stupid for them. So they were telling Ghanaians that they don't want to release that. When they find oil in the penalty area, in the center, or in the other penalty area, what they are trying to tell Ghanaians is we will not release the other fields to Ghanaians or the Ghana government. Now let's go on. Now, the Petroleum Commission, which is the regulator of the upstream oil and gas sector, as well as the technical advisor to the Minister for Energy, reviewed the POD, advised the Minister for Energy, that's Peter Amawu, not to approve the plan of development, that's the POD, since Aker Energy were asking for the impossible. This is the Petroleum Commission telling the Minister of Energy that, Amawu, what Aker Energy is asking for, that whenever they find oil in a block or on a field, they are not going to relinquish or release the other field. It is against our laws, and that nobody should be given that chance. Because if you do that, you set bad precedents for other companies, and the bigger companies will also take advantage of that. That's why it has been put in the 2006 law. Nobody should be able to do that. We do not have to give anyone that opportunity. But Aker wrote to the minister and said that is what they want to do. The Petroleum Commission, which advises the Minister of Energy, the ministry, says don't do it. It is dangerous. Now, between September and October 2019, Aker Energy held series of meetings with some accomplices at the Jubilee House. Accomplice number 1 at the Jubilee House with the Minister of Energy, Peter Amawu. And these are facts, as well as the Minister for Finance, as always, Kendo Foriata. And the decision was taken that the Republic of Ghana should amend the law, which is the Petroleum Exploration and Production Act 2016, Act 919, as well as Aker Energy Petroleum Agreement to accommodate Aker Energy's request not to release the adjoining oil fields to the Pecan field. So Peter Amawu, accomplice number 1 at the Jubilee House, and the Finance Minister, as you always, the greedy one, they met, they had a meeting, series of meetings, and at the end of the day, accomplice number 1 at the Jubilee House said that Aker Energy should have their way, and that the minister, Peter Amawu, the Minister of Energy, should make sure this happens. My fellow Ghanaians, focus and follow me, because I am going to prove to Ghanaians, there are documents I'm going to show to let Ghanaians understand the gravity of what I'm talking about. Now, against the better judgment of the opposition in Parliament, the MPs, the other side, the NDC guys, the NPP used its majority in the chamber to approve the amended law in December 2019, knowing very well that it is not in the best interest of the ordinary Ghanaian. You remember, late 2019, Parliament was sitting late. The year was about to end. They were pushing documents through. People were raising concerns. I remember some of the minorities raised concerns that, why are you guys not taking your time? Why are you guys not taking your time for us to read these documents before amendments and all that? But Parliament, the majority, forced things through. Accomplice number 1 in the Jubilee House made sure that the Minister of Energy, the Finance Minister, put together the majority to push things through. So this was amended in 2019, late 2019. In fact, I made some of my guys I work with contact or interview some of these MPs, especially those from the majority. They said they didn't even understand the amendments. They just had to push it because, man, it's politics. They had to push it. And I felt this was so shameful. And what they did that day, 2019 December, has, in fact, given our oil, majority of our oil, to some individuals. And I'll prove that at the end of the day. My fellow Ghanaians, focus. Now, let's move on. Now, I'm going to explain the implications of that amendment before we move forward with the scandal. The implication of the NPP government decision to amend the law is that it denies potential investors the opportunity to get oil blocks for exploration. Companies like Springfield, Amni International, Heritage, and etc. all acquire oil blocks that were released by big oil companies like Tulu, Cosmos, Eni, and the likes. So you can see Tulu, Cosmos, and the rest, when they do the exploration and they find oil, What they do is they relinquish, they release the rest of the land to the Republic of Ghana because it's in the law. You can't take the rest. Wherever you find, you plot it, you fence it, then you mine or you drill there. You don't keep the rest of the block. It is easy because small companies too can get access to these small lands. And also, Ghana is going to make a lot of money because we are going to charge every single company that drills on this land. So in one field, where we have Tulu, whatever, when they are all drilling respectively in their respective holes, the government of Ghana makes so much money. The government of Ghana makes so much taxes. We make a lot because one small field like the Accra Sports Stadium, we can put 20 companies on because each of them did their respective exploration and they found their spots, they have fenced it, and they're moving on. But if you say that Tulu is big, they found oil at the penalty area, and that they are not going to release the rest, it goes against the government of Ghana. It goes against we the people. And that is why the laws were put there in 2006. But today, some people in the Jubilee House, especially accomplice number one, made sure that Aker had their way. Let's go on. Now, another danger with this new law is that it sets a bad precedent for companies who already have oil blocks to follow. The question is, why did Peter Amewu refuse to heed to the technical advice of the Petroleum Commission, the PC, and the GNPC? Why did Peter Amewu do that? Our source in the Jubilee House, and I'm going to repeat this again, our source in the Jubilee House who is worried about this scandal, our source is worried, and he is still worried, told me and my team that there were exchanges of funds between Aker Energy and accomplice number one at the Jubilee House, Peter Amewu and Ken Oforiatta, and one person, Gabi Ochredako. There were exchange of funds. Some monies were paid for this to be pushed to Parliament for the amendments to be done. This is our oil. My fellow Ghanaians, I've not even come to the details yet. Take your time and follow this conversation. The minority, everybody listening to me, your own MPs, force them to bring this document out. It is there. It is sitting on the president's desk. They are hiding it. It is in there. The Aker deal, the Aker agreement, it is in there. That oil agreement. Let them bring it out and tell me that I am lying. I am fighting for my people and I'm fighting for the generation which has not been born. This oil belongs to you and I. That is why I'm doing this. Now, let me show you where the crime was committed and also why this MPP government is a criminal enterprise led by this Achim greedy mafias. Now, back to the scandal. Now, in amending the law, Aker Energy sneaked in some additional requirements which will make the Republic of Ghana lose over $10 billion over the life of the field. As far as they have that field, now they have signed that contract they are using. We Ghanaians, we the people of Ghana, we will lose $10 billion. I'm lying, right? Now look at this. This is the amendment, right? The amendment to the Petroleum Agreement. Producer, can you put this there? Yeah, can you put this there? Amendment to the Petroleum Agreement among the government of the Republic of Ghana. This document, people, tell your MPs to provide this document. You want to read it. The RTI bill, we did not force that for no reason. That's why I'm the first person in the United States of America to organize a forum on RTI bill. Go and check. People sit there and they speak. We know what we are doing. We want truth to prevail. Now, this is the amendment, and I'm going to read it before I go into the amendment for people to know what they have done. And the agreement, the contract government of Ghana signed with Aker and what they have given them for free. Amendment to the to the Petroleum Agreement among the government of the Republic of Ghana, Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, and Aker Ghana Limited, formerly Imarada Hess Ghana Limited, in respect of Deepwater Tunnel Cape 3-point contract area offshore Republic of Ghana, 8th February 2006. This is a public document. And the serious journalist in Ghana, the newsfile pundit, the newsfile intelligent men who don't want to follow up on issues, the newsfile robots who think that they decide the news for Ghana. Today I'm giving you assignment. Go and bring this document and read this document to Ghanaians if you people are not working under the influence of alcohol or money. I'm telling you people, and I don't fear anybody. Now let's get into this document. In Article 12, Article 12, you will see taxation and imports. Taxation and other imports in Article 12. In Article 12.2G, it says contractor, its subcontractors and Aker Ghana companies, shall not be subject to any payment of VAT. This is the amendment they made. in the petroleum, in our Petroleum Act. This is the amendment the MPP government, Akufo-Addo government, Ken Ofori-Atta government made. Why? I'm going to prove to you. And at the end of the day, I'll tell you the reason why they did this amendment. Article 12.2, the document is there. Parliamentarians, bring it out. Come and sit on TV and tell Ghanaians. Contractor, its subcontractors and Aker Ghana companies shall not be subject to any payment of VAT, NHIL, Get Fund levy, or similar imports on works, services, plant, equipment, or materials supplied in Ghana. Period. Finito. This Aker company is not going to pay tax on anything. Nothing. They are subcontract. They are going to any company they contract to come and work on that field. If it's 100 companies, they are not going to pay anything. VAT, NHIL, everything you can think about, it's zero. We are talking about an oil deal. Oil deal signed by a government with a company. But why will a government do that? There should be a reason. There should be a reason why accomplice number 1 in Jubilee House forced this to happen. And I'm going to tell Ghanaians today. The same amendment, when you go to Article 12.3, it stipulates that all subcontractors working for Aker Energy shall pay only 5% withholding tax and shall have no further tax obligations on their income in Ghana. They shall pay only 5% withholding tax and shall have no further tax obligations on their income in Ghana. These people are not going to pay any, so this is what is going to happen. So Aker Energy has the block. He contracts other companies to come and field and mine on Accra Sports Stadium, the field. He demarcates, gives. Now, what is going to happen is, if 20 companies were working on the Accra Sports Stadium individually fenced their drills, they were all going to pay taxes to Ghana individually, irrespectively. Now, Aker Energy, as the main company, will overshadow all this. Nobody knows how much it's going to take from all these people, but at the end of the day, you pay only 5% to Ghanaians. But if there were 20 companies fielding individually, if Aker had released the land and other companies had come to take over and release the other land, we would have had thousands and millions of dollars. But now, this is what is happening. Now, when you go to Article 12.5, the contractor and its subcontractors shall not be subject to any payment of any import duties. This is a serious stuff. The contractor and its subcontractors shall not be subject to any payment of import duties, imports, VAT, NHIL, Get Fund, AU levy, ECOWAS levy, EXIM levy, special import levy, or any other taxes, duties, or levies on the import into Ghana of all plants, equipment, or materials. I'm even short of words. It means we have given these guys gold, raw gold. Take our oil. We don't need anything. But why do you think a government will do that? In what interest? Why will a government? Why would accomplice number 1 in the Jubilee House order this? Why would Ken Ofori-Atta, Peter Amewu, Gabi Ochirakun lead this? Why? These are the people who are leading Ghana, saying that they're fighting for Ghana. Why do you think they will do that? And I'll prove to Ghanaians today. And I'm not just going to prove it. These are documents I'm showing you. Now, I have a simple question. The question I want to pose to President Akufo-Addo is simple. Mr. President, is this the best way to govern a country that is broke? Is this the best way? And I asked the finance minister and also the vice president, is this how to govern a country you people always say it's broke? Some of these incentives were given to the companies before Ghana commenced oil and gas production in 2010, which we agree. Now, our oil, we know that our oil fields we are fertile. We have enough oil. Ghana is not considered as a risky country anymore. And Ken Ofori-Atta and Peter Amewu should have negotiated for a better fiscal term. You need to negotiate for better fiscal terms. We are not in HIPIC. Why will you do this to Ghana? There should be a reason, and I'm going to tell you the reason. Now, Article 20, purchasing and procurement. Article 20 in this same amendment, purchasing and procurement. This is what they wrote. 20.3 says the selection of suppliers and award of contracts by the contractor, Aker Energy, shall not be subject to approval by government authorities. Aker basically is the government of Ghana. Yeah, from what I'm seeing, they are basically the government of Ghana. They are throwing the shots. My fellow Ghanaians, this contradicts the Petroleum Local Content and Local Participation Regulation 2013 LI 2204. It contradicts it. Now, 20.4, in the same agreement, the Petroleum Commission and the Minister for Energy will be informed about the selection of vendors an award of contract. Now, Aker is throwing the shot. They are deciding for the government of Ghana. Aker is sounding more like the government of Ghana now. But there's a reason why Aker is sounding more like the government of Ghana. And I'll prove to you why. Now, in the same contract with Aker, 20.5, it says the contractor and its subcontractors are not liable to pay local content funds as required by Section 64 of Petroleum Exploration and Production Act 2016, Act 919. My comment is simple. This is a comment I want to make. These provisions mean that Aker Energy Ghana Limited are not obliged to comply with Ghana's local content law anymore. Yes, from what I just told you, they are not obliged to comply with Ghana's local content law anymore. Most contracts will go to foreign companies, and Ghanaian companies will be at a disadvantage. Aker Energy have been given the open check by government of Ghana to spend anything they wish on the oil. Now, the Petroleum Commission, which has the mandate to ensure efficient development and production of petroleum resources for citizens of Ghana, cannot challenge the cost and expense of Aker Energy. They can't, because now Aker is throwing the shots. They are making the decisions. They are bringing in subcontract. They don't pay anything. Aker can award contracts for their Ghana operations to companies outside this country without Petroleum Commission's approval. It has been stated in the amendment that Aker calls the final shot. They can have contracts with other companies without government of Ghana's approval. This means that those foreign companies will not pay taxes in Ghana. Companies operating in the oil and gas industry in Ghana are required to pay 1% of contract values. Do you know that? Yes. All companies, all oil and gas companies, industries are required to pay 1% of contract value into the local content fund. This fund is intended to be used to give financial support to indigenous Ghanaian companies. Aker Energy have been exempted from contributing into this fund. So the question is, why? It's a simple question. Why, my fellow Ghanaians? And I asked Akufo-Addo, Peter Mewu, and the accomplice number one in the Jubilee House and the majority in Parliament. Now guys, posterity will judge you people. How do you expect Ghanaian companies to borrow from local banks at a rate of 25 to 30% and compete with international companies who are able to borrow at their home companies or home countries for less than 5%? This local content fund, which is managed by Petroleum Commission, was meant to bridge that financing gap. Now, from what we are seeing, Aker has killed that. This was held together by President Kufuor. It was held together by John Dramani Mahama. Now the question is, who caused it? Your guess is as good as mine. Accomplice number one at the Jubilee House. He caused this. And I'll prove to you people. My fellow Ghanaians, these are dangerous times. Let me break things down for Ghanaians to understand. You know, Ghana will lose over $5 billion because of the selfish interest of accomplice number one in the Jubilee House, Gabi Otredako, Peter Amewu, and Akufo-Addo. Aker Energy Ghana Limited will not inject new capital after they commence production at the Pecan Field. Since the Pecan Field project is not ring-fenced, they have not even ring-fenced it. They will be able to transfer the cost of exploration for their other fields onto the Pecan Field. It is international best practice that where companies have or has multiple projects within the same vicinity, it is required to ring-fence each project for ease of cost allocation. Since cost and expenditure in the oil and gas industry is recovered from oil produce, Aker Energy negotiated to award contract with Petroleum Commission approval so that they can increase the contract value to enable them get more oil. In this case, who loses? We lose because we are left with nothing as a state. On the issue of local content fund alone, the nation stands to lose about $44 million, being 1% of the $4.4 billion budgeted for the Pecan Field. My fellow Ghanaians, we will lose $44 million. That is 1% of the $4.4 billion budgeted for the Pecan Field development. As I said earlier, the local content fund is meant to give low-interest loans to Ghanaian companies operating in the upstream oil and gas industry. What happened to Ghana beyond aid? What happened to helping our own? Is this a government that is willing to help its people? This is a greedy enterprise. This is a greedy government, and I feel bad for my people. Now, let me tell you why this relief has been given to Aker Energy. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to tell every Ghanaian why this relief was given to Aker Energy, and you'll be shocked. Your jaws will drop. You know, all this relief given to Aker Energy is a result of the interest held by Quad Energy in the AGM block. AGM Ghana Limited is owned by Aker Energy Ghana Limited. So in effect, these two companies are the same. It is basic. They are playing cuckoo football here. They are wearing different jerseys. When somebody scores, they all jubilate differently. By the end of the day, it is in one interest. These players, the accomplice number one in the Jubilee House, Ken Ofori-Atta, Gabi Ochedakon, and the rest. Aker Energy, AGM Ghana is one football team. My source reveals that Quad Energy's 5% share in the AGM block will be carried by AGM, which means that all exploration expenses and costs allocated to Quad Energy will be borne by Aker Energy. Khadija Amwa, who was an employee in the Jubilee House attached to the Vice President's office, is now the country director of Aker Energy. The finance minister and Gabi Ochedakon lobbied for an employee. Again, I'm going to say this. The finance minister and Gabi Ochedakon lobbied for Khadija, yes, an employee of the Jubilee House attached to the Vice President's office, to be the country director for Aker Energy in order to protect their interests, including Quad Energy Ghana Limited. Quad Energy Limited is owned by David Adumakun. The PDS squad, they are coming back. Babatunde Ampa, who is a director in Quad Energy, is a nephew of David Adumakun. Take your time, my fellow Ghanaians. Focus. This same Babatunde is also a nephew of Ken Ofori-Atta, the finance minister. My fellow Ghanaians, make the connections for yourself. This is serious. This is a scam. My fellow Ghanaians, meet me on Loud Silence Radio and TV on Tuesday for more details on this deal. I have more, but I have decided to release this so to see the reaction of accomplice number one and his group of criminal cartel. My fellow Ghanaians, let's speak up before a few people take everything including our gas and oil from us. I'll publish this amendment on Loud Silence website for everyone to have access to them. I have said that I am just a messenger without a Bible or a Quran in my hand. A messenger who is willing and ready to speak truth to power. Ladies and gentlemen, all that you heard here is with all due respect.